Hey, chiropractic students and recent grads, how successful could you be if you had a resource that clarified your vision, helped you develop a plan, saved you money, time, and heartache, shortened your learning curve, and helped set you on a course to become profitable your first few months after opening? The Chiro Planner is here. More than just a journal, it's a guide to creating and launching your chiropractic practice in 100 days. It's jam-packed with tools, tips, ideas, action steps, resources, and inspiring quotes from some of the top chiropractors and business leaders today. Think of it as your own personal mentor, inspiring you, answering your questions, helping you set goals, and advising you on the many unknowns of opening a practice. Go to chiroplanner.com today to order your copy.
We are going to do a free-form episode. We don't have any notes or anything, and we're just going to download about networking and everything networking is, what it should be, what you should be doing in school, what you should be doing in practice.
So a long time ago, pre-internet, pre-everything, not pre-everything, but there used to be that doctors, chiropractors, when they open a business, they could be in the yellow pages. They'd have a yellow page ad, and then they'd get to know people in their community and everything like that. And then over time, you're familiar enough, you've seen enough people, you have referrals coming in. So that's same, except now that you've got digital as well. And so there's social media marketing and everything like that. And this has been a big, big change. Back in the days of Yellow Pages, you could pay a lot more money to have a bigger ad or bold print next to your business name as a way to stand out. But that's changed with the advent of the internet. And but what it has not changed is being part of your community and that person-to-person touch, that getting to know a real person thing is as important as it ever has been. But it used to be that people, if they didn't know you, they'd learn about you from your ad. Let's say you paid for a mailer. And then they thought, oh, that sounds good. I'd like to go see what that person's all about. In the age of social media, it has shifted towards, I want to Facebook stalk or go online and see what that person's all about, and then decide from there if I want to be part of whatever that person is all about. So, but what we're going to talk about, like Haley said, is networking and community engagement in the modern era.
Yeah. So I think we were, trying to think of what we were going to talk about this episode, and we hit upon networking, and we thought, man, I have so much I can talk about. I see so many people doing wrong things and so many people doing right things. And we're going to help make it clear as to what you should be doing and why you should be doing that. And I think number one, you nailed it. I mean, you should be in your community, and that means living in your community, right?
Yeah.
We lived. And why wouldn't you want to? I mean, who wants to drive more than 5 minutes to work? Mm-hmm. Am I right? Neither of us. And we've lived within 5 minutes of both of our practices. And to us, that's an incredible,
it's a bonus.
To be that close, but also to your neighbors, or, you can network with your neighbors. And when I say network, I think it's really hard. Some people think you go into a networking event to sell those people on you, and you don't. You want to tell them who you are so that they can tell everyone they know to come to you. So networking, have a very big mindset about networking is not just talking to one person, but you're talking to every person they know. And I think trying to just get that one person to come into your office is a bad way to go about that. I
would take it a step further. I would say networking is more than just talking to everybody you know. It's talking to everybody you know about them. Yeah. About what is important to them. Everyone's favorite subject is themselves. And if you go to a meeting, like let's say a Chamber of Commerce meeting, and you meet somebody, the conversation isn't about you and how you're a chiropractor and how you can help them. The conversation is about them. How long have they lived in the community? What do they do for a living? What's their business? Things like that.
Yeah, I talk to a lot of people, and they'll say, well, I go into all, because we say you should know everyone within a 1 mile radius of you, every business, if not in a 3 mile radius of you. And I'll talk to people and they'll say, well, I go and I give them my business card and nothing. Well, that's where you went wrong. You got to go in and ask them about them. What's this business? What is your Pilates studio? Who do you serve? Who do you want to come into you? And then you take their business card and you leave and you send them a thank you that says, thank you for meeting with me. I'm so excited about your Pilates studio, and anyone that I meet that is blah, 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 I will send them immediately to you. And then you can follow that up with, I think, an invitation to your ribbon cutting or an invitation to a chamber event.
Or a health talk.
Or a health talk.
Yeah.
So you're starting to build that relationship with them by getting to know them first.
Yeah, and there's going to be no shortage of people to meet, but understanding that it's about your community first. It's the people you can affect that are 1 degree of separation from you, that's going to build a healthier community, and that are going to tell a neighbor or a friend, and it's going to grow from there. But there's something about the personal connection that's different from online or anything else. I mean, it still matters. If you've talked face to face with that person and you've built that personal connection, it's just so strong. And you don't have to talk about chiropractic. You don't have to talk about your business or whatever. It can be about anything, but you want to get to know those people and what is important to them and their values.
Yeah. And I think then, and also it's a time thing. It takes time. Yeah. It doesn't matter, how aggressive you are. You probably turn them off if you're too aggressive, but it's going to take time for people to get to know you and like you and then trust you. And so networking is it's not immediate. Sometimes it is. Sometimes you'll meet someone and they're like, oh my gosh, my back just started hurting. I'm new to the area. I'm going to come see you. That's not most people. It takes time, and they have to know that you're not just the chiropractor that's there today. You're the chiropractor that's coming to every chamber meeting they have, or to every event, or to every ribbon cutting, or, that you're going to be consistent and really build value. You're going to bring value to the organization, and you're committed.
And there's an old saying in business that people do business with people that they know, like, and trust. So first of all, they have to know you. If you're not out there networking, they haven't had a chance to get to know you, let alone get to like you. So you have to get out there, put yourself out there and get to know people. And then they'll start to like you, and then the trust can come later. But it's got to happen, and it's so important. And if you're just graduating and you say, well, I'm going into a new town and I don't know anybody, your number one job has to be to find people and get to know them so that they can know you.
Yeah, when we opened in Colorado, we knew no one. Well, we knew Rich's ex-wife. She was somewhat close, but we knew no one else. I mean, literally no one else. But to us, it was an opportunity we didn't know anyone. Well, everywhere we go, we better start meeting people. And honestly, probably like 6 months before we moved away, do you remember we went to Subway? And we knew every single person. We knew
everybody.
We knew every single, probably 20 people. And we knew every single person in Subway. And it felt so good. It was nice to see them. And we truly enjoyed that connection and being part of something and being a part of that town. And, the last year we owned the practice, we gave over $2,000 to the high school athletic department. And nothing has made me feel better about being in business and in practice than helping support the community that supported us.
So what we're talking about now is the person-to-person side. If you aren't doing it already, get to know everybody. And if you don't know what to talk about them.
Yes.
That makes it an easy conversation. It's hard. I can go talk about myself all day long. But one of the things that is a good skill to acquire is to, when you're talking to a new person, almost pretend to be interviewing that person. Yeah. Kind of like, oh, hey, who are you? Oh, that's interesting. Oh, that's great. You're a photographer.
Are you from the area?
Are you from here? Oh, okay. And keep asking them questions. What's funny is when they do surveys and studies of people on likability, people who have been, if I take a really big interest in you, you're going to say that I was a very likable person. That's that's how the psychology works. People who like us a lot or seem to be interested in us a lot, we tend to like better. So remember, if it's to know, like, and trust, you're already there by taking a real interest in them. And we are all in our own self-absorbed fog. If you can step outside of that and take that genuine interest, then you're going to be making some inroads on that relationship.
And honestly, you're the one benefiting from all of this because you are becoming someone who's well-liked and respected in the community, and you feel good about your community. You're getting to know people and they like you and you're seeing them places. And I think that there's a real value in that to feeling a part of something and enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. There is. And another thing, and this just reminds me of this, when my years as a salesperson, when someone has a need, it's the convergence of that need with who they know that would fill that need. So if you don't really care about who the best realtor is until you need to buy a house or sell your house. Then you ask somebody, right? So it's the convergence of that need with who you know. And so you just want to be part of the conversation. You may not get the sale that day, meaning they may not come in as your patient, but it doesn't matter. You've increased the amount of people that you know. So when that convergent time, that time happens, when it converges, that need for your care happens, that you already know them or they already know you.
Yeah, and I think there's a few important points to point out is that, one, you should find a place where you feel very comfortable. You really like and enjoy the people, and they seem to like and enjoy you. Also, you don't want to spread yourself too thin. You don't want to be going to every chamber event and every BNI event and every this and every Toastmasters and no. Find a place you really feel comfortable and be consistent with that. Don't try to go do too many things. I think that could be a problem too, is if you're trying to keep up with too many different groups and trying to fit in everywhere, then you won't find a place where you really fit in. You won't find a groove because you're spread too thin.
All right, so we've covered the in-person connection, the person-to-person connection. So what is the deal with social media? Should I be buying tons of ads or should I even be on there? What do you think, Haley?
I have very strong opinions about social media because I am on it a lot, and because I'm on there, I'm answering questions in the women's chiropractic group or in the lots of different chiropractic groups. So, and here are some issues that I see. One of them is that your profile is not findable or there's questionable content on your profile. I think you really need to be on Facebook. It needs to be clearly you. Your name is there. It's not a nickname or anything like that. People want to go to Facebook and find you. They want to know you're a real person with a real family, with real friends, and you have real hobbies. It's normal. And if you are skeptical about that, then, I think you're missing out on that piece because people are going to go to Facebook and look you up. They want to know who you are and why you would maybe be a good fit for them and coming to your practice.
Yeah, going back to what I said at the beginning of this podcast, it used to be that people got to know you because there wasn't an internet or social media where you could go online and learn all about the person prior to going into their business. That all happened once you entered the business. That's totally flipped on its head now, and people want to know about you. They want to see your pets and your kids and see that you're a regular person and all of that. Remember that when you're a chiropractor, you are always auditioning for the job of chiropractor. Always. And that audition starts before they ever even enter your practice. The upside for us is that they're pre-sold, so to speak. They've already made the decision to come to you. They've figured out who you are and seen who you are.
Yeah, which is if you're not in practice now, if you're a student and you're listening to this, it is so much easier when a patient comes into you and they've been referred in. And the more they know about you and your office, the easier it is to gain traction and move forward in that relationship. And if, before they were coming in kind of cold, they may go to a few chiropractors before they find someone they really connect with. If they're just looking in the yellow pages, like you were talking about earlier. Whereas now, if they're coming in, they've seen you everywhere. They've probably looked into who you are and seen your family and your friends and what you've been up to, and that's fine. You should be a normal, likable human being on Facebook.
Yeah, and it makes things easier to talk about with that patient online. I mean, if they've, how it is with social media. Oh, hey, I saw you went on vacation. Oh, yeah, we did. I mean, there's you can already talk about it. You already have something because you feel like you know that little person a little bit. There, about them as a person in their lives.
Yeah, and I think that either you need to be comfortable with that, or realize it's working against you. So if you're not, because patients are going to find you, they're going to friend you on Facebook. You just need a profile that says who you are without being too extreme, or, if extreme's your thing, maybe that's fine. But, it's a good depiction of who you are and what they're going to get when they come in your office.
So if I don't know anything about social media and I wanted to get involved in 3 platforms, what would you recommend that I start getting on?
I would get on Facebook and Instagram for sure. I would probably have a website.
Twitter? No Twitter?
I wouldn't worry about Twitter. Although I saw someone was doing really well with Snapchat.
Really?
So I think, but it's the same with networking all over the place. I think you got to pick one place and find your groove. We've been working with someone, and did he get someone from Instagram or Facebook?
I can't remember, but I think it was Instagram.
It was one of them. And so we've been working really hard on his Instagram and what they've been doing with their Instagram posts. And so we just only been working like a month on it and already starting to see traction with it. So I think pick a place you feel comfortable and really get to know it and work with it.
Yeah. So if you aren't where you want to be in practice, or you are just starting out, networking. And I want to just off the top of my head, think of some things you should be going to. Definitely your chamber. There are so many other business owners there that you can get to know and who might become your patients. Maybe BNI, Business Networking International.
I saw a guy the other day on Facebook. He's been in his BNI group for 18 years.
Wow.
And he gets an average of 56 new patients a year from it.
Yeah. And so when you look at the case value of each patient, plus add to it the people that they refer in, I mean, that's huge.
Yeah. And he probably, if he's been going 18 years, it's like home to him. Like they're his friends, and it's a good connection. Like it's part of being in part of his community, and he's helping all the people there too, as much as they're helping him. So I'm sure it's a very genuine, connection oriented place.
Yeah. And in BNI, they only allow one profession, into each chapter. But you can start a new chapter, or you can start your own meetup type of group on meetup.com. You can have people get together and do it that way. But if you're a young person, I've aged out of this, unfortunately, but Young Professionals is a great organization for people to join and get to know other people. Yep.
And Toastmasters, if you feel uncomfortable speaking, would be something I would definitely do, because I think there's so many opportunities to speak at schools, at the library, if you're in a church event, a community event. There's so many ways you can get out and tell your story through speaking that if you aren't comfortable doing it, Toastmasters is going to, 2 birds with 1 stone.
Yeah. So if you are struggling in practice, or not where you want to be, or starting, make a list of these organizations, start visiting, start taking an interest in those other people, and start building that network. There's an old saying that your network is your net worth. And there's another one that if you want to double your practice, double the amount of people that you know. And so that can all happen, but it's not going to happen until you go out and grow those networks.
And when do you think you should stop networking?
Me? Yeah. Never. Don't ever stop.
No, and it's not part-time. You have to be genuine. You need to be a good person. You need to be really taking a serious effort and building these relationships and being a part of your community. I think is our practice isn't like we love it and we build it when we can, but we aren't trying to actively build it.
Yeah.
But we give to our kids' schools.
We donate.
We donate to our kids' schools. We donate our time. We do all of these things to still be a part of our community and know the people that we know. And I think that wherever you are or whatever you're doing, you should be networking.
Yeah. I think we got it. I think we can put a fork in this one.
Yeah. I don't know. I can. Well,
you can go all day long?
Yeah, I can. I think networking should be, if you are not busy at work, I saw a post the other day about what could I be doing when I don't have patients? I mean, there is so much you can do about networking. And, back to the Facebook, even you can go to your town Facebook groups and answer people's questions, and you're providing them value, and they may not know who you are, but they may click on your profile and then see that you're the chiropractor at Active City Chiropractic and think you did a great job providing an answer to that question, and then come see you for chiropractic.
Yeah.
So it's just unbelievable the amount of links you can build if you are giving value, you're caring, and you're in your community.
Yep. Always be networking. You're building genuine relationships. Keep that in mind. You're not taking a fake interest in people when you're networking. You're really getting to know them. It's fun. It's fun to get to know people, and just know that will reap huge benefits for you at some point because you planted that seed. You put in the time to build that relationship.
And I think even if you're a student, you could be doing this to bring people into clinic at school. You were on a kickball team.
Yeah,
right?
When I was in school, so I moved to Kansas City to go to Cleveland, and I knew no one. And I knew at some point I would be in the outpatient clinic, and I better have some patients. And so I joined a kickball league because I'm bad at all sports, but kickball.
Were you good at it?
I was okay. I was
a bruise and a scratch.
Yeah, I pulled something, but I didn't. But it was good. It was good enough, but to where I knew people, and I made friends with my neighbors that lived in the area where I lived, and they came in and saw me as patients. So you've always got to be thinking in those terms. You've got to be thinking of getting to know people for just socially. But the nice side effect to that, of knowing that many people, is that inevitably somebody is going to be your patient. In fact, the president of the BNI group that I was in came in, and not for to see me, but came and got a massage from the massage therapist in our clinic. Uh-huh. And that ended up, that helped our business.
Yeah.
And I think I did end up treating him as well. So, I wasn't there in the BNI group giving speeches on chiropractic, not BNI, Toastmasters. I'm giving speeches about subjects that are assigned, but and this turned into bringing money into our practice.
Yeah. And it helped you with speaking. And I think there's just so many things that come from networking, and when you're doing a good job at it, and you can always be working at it. And even for us, we always went, every time we came back to Kansas City, we went and visited, not every time, but we visited the school.
Yeah.
And now you work there.
Yeah.
It's just, you never know where life's going to take you, and you should always be nice and meet people and provide value.
Yep. And take an active interest in them.
Boom.
That's it. Bam.